Firstly, I want to thank everyone that put this together. It must have taken hundreds of hours, the shirts and the booking the rooms and making the bags, and I can't even imagine. So thank you all much. And I didn't decide to come until about 48 hours ago, so it was extremely late, last minute for me. I was going to have Bill speak for me. I still think that's the best idea. So before I get on to talking about our committee, I just want to talk about some other things. Last year, I think most of you would be aware, I created a survey. We had 309 completed surveys. They are available on our Facebook page in the files section, and there's a wealth of information if you really dive into that. One of the other members at the moment, who is an actuary, and for those of you who don't know what an actuary is a brilliant numbers person, and he's going through the spreadsheets and really analysing the data and trying to dig out some good information out of that. So he's not a member of my committee, but he's still helping out. So I created that survey, created the map I heard Tom talking about when I came in. So again, that's a great asset to the group, I think. As again, some of the others have mentioned, I have donated pretty heavily to the research fund because that's where the future is. That's what you knew I did right. I've also, donated quite a lot to the message. I like what you did. I'd like to thank my team members because they're really the ones that are putting it all together. I've got one member from Australia, Alexandra Golich. She has worked in medical research, so she's perfect for my team. Bill Westlake, I think, is the only person on my team without any medical background, but Bill's been absolutely awesome with his energy and his note-taking and his minutes, and couldn't do without him, so thank you, Bill. Emily Denanzi was one of the research grant reviewers, and she's on my team, and she's got a PhD in immunology as well as a biochemistry degree. Julie Silberger was also one of the primary review team, and she's done grant reviews for lung cancer grants for the Department of Defense. Jordan Gast in California works at a research lab for oncology. He's a clinical research coordinator there. He's on the team. Jodie Gast Parker is a royal nurse, or registered nurse. In Australia, RN stands for royal nurse. I've got RN written here. I should have written it out before, registered nurse. Linnea is consulting to our group, just as getting us in contact with people, so thanks for that, Linnea. And we've got a brand new member on our team, Sydney Denrad-Nodrog, and she is a doctor doing her last year of residency for internal medicine. And then we have, and this is my secret member, and she's given me permission to divulge the name. So, breaking news. Ellie Urban is the secret brains on my team, and she is a MD, psychiatrist, and lives in Colorado also. So I think the best thing I've got going in my team is not me, but all the people that I've rounded up. The goals for our committee are to ensure that all healthcare professionals and all healthcare facilities worldwide, not just in the US, but worldwide, can provide optimal diagnosis and treatment to all ALK patients. Number 2 goal is to partner with the pharmaceutical and healthcare professionals to more effectively promote information that is beneficial to ALK-positive lung cancer patients. And number 3 is to link the resources of the ALK community with the pharmaceutical and healthcare professions to help advance research and awareness of ALK lung cancer. with the objective, as was up on the screen earlier, to improve the life expectancy and quality of life of ALK and lung cancer patients. So some of the projects that we've got going, Ellie was the one that created and uploaded a spreadsheet that I encourage you to all look at, and the spreadsheet lists all of the ALK related trials that are going on, the locations, whether they're open or closed, inclusion and exclusion criteria, what trial phase it is, and the data is sortable, so you can download the spreadsheet and sort it however you want to sort it, and we'll be updating that monthly. And as Linnea said, she wouldn't be here if it wasn't for trials. And when we did the survey last year, somewhere between 20 to 25% of our group have participated in trials already at some stage. So I was pretty shocked by that percentage. I didn't think it was anywhere near that, but none of us would be here if it wasn't for people that have been through the trials. The committee is currently in the process of creating a spreadsheet listing oncologists. You would have seen a post just a few days ago where we're rounding up the names and phone numbers for the oncologists that kind of see quite a number of ALK patients, and again that will be uploaded, it'll be sortable, and will be updated monthly also. Thirdly, it's my firm belief that all cancer treatment will eventually move to genome testing or biomarker testing, molecular testing, personalised medicine, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. And it won't just be lung cancer, it's going to be all cancer, and as soon as anyone's diagnosed with cancer, it's my firm belief that everyone's going to get tested. But that's not the standard of care yet. It will be. There are organisations such as the International Association for Study of Lung Cancer, IASLC, and Longevity, and the Bonnie Adario Lung Cancer Foundation, the Lung Cancer Alliance, and they are all working towards that goal of universal testing. So we're kind of leaving them to take care of that because they can do a much better job of it than we can. Number 4, it's becoming more widely understood that repeated biomarker testing, when treatment is failing for an individual, can lead to an improved likelihood of selecting the next most appropriate treatment. And so, again, I believe that eventually it will become standard of care, and once it becomes standard of care, then insurance will start covering for that. So, again, we're working towards spreading the word about that. Next, we want all oncologists, lung cancer researchers, and relevant pharmaceutical companies to be aware of this group and what we do. And the more we can get the word out about our group, the more likely it is that ALK-positive patients will become aware of this group early in their cancer life. And I think if there's one stage that this group's important, it's when people are first diagnosed. And that's when people are totally in shock, feel hopeless. They think, life expectancy 8 months, 10 months, something like that. And if they can get put in touch with our group early on, I think it'll make an enormous difference. Next, I think there's, in my mind, no question that the members of this group benefit, on average, by having access to all the information. Avail yourself of all the files that have been uploaded. There's an amazing amount of information in the uploaded files. And of course the empathy and the support that the group provides also, but I think all of those things will lead to improved quality of life and longevity for our patients, and enables our members to effectively advocate for the best treatment. And again, as some of you have already said, being a member of this group gives you the knowledge to go back to your oncologist and say, hey, what about this? So I just received last night, after I got back to my room, a message from Ellie, and Ellie and Jordan on my committee are looking at setting up a ALK clinical trial service that will involve an education brochure and the clinical trial spreadsheet and a service to find potential clinical trials for members inquiring through Messenger. So that's going to be coming up before long. I've been kind of in the background working at making sure that all the donations that go to longevity are ending up in our research fund and not getting into the longevity general fund, which is still a great place for money to go, don't get me wrong, but having said that, I'd rather see it go into our research fund. We'd like to ensure that all patients in clinical trials get all of their trial-related expenses paid for. And at the moment, I think it's sometimes available, patients aren't aware of what they should be asking for or demanding for, but in my opinion, anyone doing a clinical trial should not have to pay a cent for anything. Not for extra drugs, not for extra scans, not for travel, not for meals, not for accommodations. It should all be covered. And so, we're going to be pushing for that. We'd like to see, there's some very good guidelines created by the National Cancer Care Network, which is known as NCCN. Ross Camage, who you heard his audio tape earlier, was pretty instrumental in putting together the ALK section of those guidelines. And not all oncologists, even in the US and certainly not around the world, but even in the US, not all oncologists follow those guidelines yet. And our goal will be to make sure that those guidelines are adhered to as a minimum by all oncologists. Obviously, a lot of stuff that gets done with us is not minimum standard of care, but cutting edge. But at least to get everyone to be following the minimum standard of care. We are, and this was touched on a little bit earlier too, we've been working at connecting with the Japanese support group, and I'm delighted to hear just today that that's starting to pay dividends. We know that there's lots of outpatients in Japan, as there is in every country in the world, but a lot of the drug research has been done in Japan, and I think the ALK drugs started in Japan, I think. So we're trying to bring them into the group. That'll be a bit of a challenge because I was surprised. I was under the understanding, or misunderstanding, I guess I should say, that most Japanese had at least a reasonable understanding of English, and apparently that's not the case. But that said, I think the Google translation services are probably going to make that work anyway. We've got members from all around the world and they write in their own language and then it gets translated. The only one that doesn't translate well is Hungarian.
Can you work on that?
My father was Hungarian and I could not understand a single word. and he liked it that way. The pharmaceutical companies and the lung cancer advocacy groups are all pushing for universal biomarker testing, and again, it's my hope that that will become standard. Just because someone's 65 years old and has smoked all their life, it should not be assumed that they're not ALK-positive. We'd like to see increased earlier diagnosis, and the way we'd like to see that achieved is by having primary care physicians and pulmonologists be more aware that signs such as breathing difficulties, a lingering cough, lack of energy, any of those things may mean lung cancer, even if you're 25 and a non-smoker. And I'm sure, I know it, that if you walk into a doctor's office nowadays and you're 30 and you're a non-smoker, they're still not thinking lung cancer, and we need to change that. Knowledge is getting us to the point where it's evident that the future standard of care will be for a rebiopsy upon failing a TKI, and that then doing a new biopsy, whether it be a solid tissue biopsy or whether it be a liquid biopsy or both. But again, once this becomes standard of care, then it will start getting covered by insurance. So I spent 35 years taking care of dental patients. I retired when I was 57. Got diagnosed, excuse me, when I was 58. And now I hope to be able to help ALK patients for the next 35 years.